to eat my food still.
I know you want to eat, but like the thing is, honey, when you wanna run a show, you gotta be able
I
to.
know. I'm always like 10 minutes late, Okay.
Let's yeah.
Yesterday I was 7 minutes late for work.
Darling, how could you? How could you be late? How could you be late from work?
Are you ever late for work?
Oh yeah, every day.
I've got two. I can hear you twice, so I'm gonna get rid of that.
Yeah, we gotta lower the volumes on the live as well as
It's weird.
um
It doesn't let me completely mute the live.
no,
Like,
no, no,
I
no. We need
find
to.
that stupid.
Yes. Well, I mean, this is the thing is like when we're doing an episode like this, it's kind of strange because we just jump right into it.
I think it's fine. Welcome to American Groove.
Yes.
Today's episode we are talking about. Well, today's episode is called Flowers and
Flowers and
Food
food
Stamps.
stamps. Yes.
Yeah, or food
And
stamps and flowers, flowers and food
student
stamps.
stamps. And of course, we got to get introductions. I am Dave. I am the host and founder of Lost in the Groove and the American Groove segment. And we have here, yes.
Well, your other host, Karissa, who
Yes.
is analyzing the shadow on her face at the moment.
Yes.
I do my own lighting here at my studio.
Yes.
And I realized that I put the microphone in directly in front of my light, which I'm way too much of a perfectionist for this to be okay.
Of
But
course.
welcome to today's episode of
Yeah.
American Groove on Lost
We're
in the Groove.
where we have a joint and we have a wild conversation.
I'm like, okay, I have two joints like ready to roll. But I pretty much always smoke them when I make them. So
Okay, be right, but like for any of those that have the pre-rolls, we got to be exclusive on this podcast, honey. We got to include the people that buy the pre-rolls, the people that buy the paper and roll it themselves. Okay, for all y'all, we got the joints ready for this wild ass motherfucking vacation we're about to be going on.
we have two viewers at the moment. I don't
Let's
really
be
know who they are. Is it just the two of us?
maybe, or maybe the
That's
ghost
funny.
of us,
How's
but
that work?
I don't know. I don't think we're supposed to figure that out.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm just gonna grind some weed. Do we
So
have any weed sponsors today?
no, we do not have. Unfortunately, we do not have any weed sponsors just yet. So we are.
Well, last time we showed off a bunch of weed. Right now I just have like a regular like nug. It's no one's brand. It's nothing. It's just straight up weed brought to you by weed.
Okay.
Do you remember I said that like a long time ago? I was like, it'd be great if like one of our sponsors is just like weed. Like
I mean,
not even
they have a company called Just Eggs. So there's got to be a company called Just Weed.
just weed.
Just Weed, yeah.
I was thinking that like you could create a business, or I could create a business. Anyone could, and just put the word true at the beginning of it. Just the word true. Whatever your business is, just put the word true at the beginning. So like, true weed, true
so
cock.
True cock. Oh, I like that. That's better.
Yeah, just true anything. What business do you want to own?
Me?
Yeah. Like I own a candle company. It's like True Candles. I feel like it would work. Open up an ice cream parlor, True Ice Cream. Come on, work with me here.
I want to, but in all seriousness,
like not that great.
no, not that great. But
it is that great.
It's great, but we do want to ease into the conversation that we're having today, which is what's the difference? What's the difference with this? Honey, I'm a podcaster.
What?
This is the
what
shit.
What do you mean? We have to ease into the subject. This is our podcast where we just do whatever we want to do. it'll flow. Like it'll become the topic. It always does.
I'm just being a New Yorker that's like, all right, come on, like I gotta I
You're
got I
ridiculous.
gotta make
Just
the A train. I gotta make the A train at fucking 5:33, honey. We gotta.
you can't
Mm-mm,
change the pace of things. They just
mm-mm,
are what they are.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can't control everything.
How's the rolling going?
I'm just grinding weed at the moment, but I am so frustrated about the shadow on my face that I'm almost going to move the microphone in the middle of the podcast
I
because I'm just
think
so mad about this shadow.
I think the shadow gives an extra
Thank
um
you. Yeah, okay.
finesse. It
Okay.
gives it an extra element. I mean, if you want to call it the fifth element, ooh, you can call it that, but I think it does have its purpose
The
here
fifth
today.
element. It reminds me of my monsters that I've been breeding. They're all different elements, right? I told you. But again, the reason that today's episode is called Food Stamps and Flowers, Flowers and Food Stamps
It's
is
flowers and food
because
stamps.
I came up with this idea that I wanted to do the most popular song of last week. And I want to recap the most popular song of last week and say just like 2 or 3 things about it and make it like super short. But then we started talking. Well, I figured out the most popular song. And the most popular song of this week was Miley Cyrus, Flowers. And it was pretty apparent. There were like maybe 2 or 3 other songs that kept kind of popping up on some of the charts. But my whole idea was that I was going to search the charts and see which one reoccurs at number 1 and the most. And that would be the song that I would choose as the one for next week. So now everybody knows how I'm going to make my new little segment. But what ended up happening is that we decided just to do the episode about this song because there's so much that I want to say about it and so much that I relate to. And I just like, do you ever have a moment where like a song kind of just like you're like, damn, that song fits my life right now? Like, like it's like I feel like someone made like these beats, these vibes because of like what is happening in the world, like these beats, these vibes. Like I think a lot of people are in like an emotional recovery phase. Like I think a lot of people have been through a lot. I think a lot of people want to feel better, obviously. So I'm not the only one that connects with this song. I mean, obviously it's like a pop hit, and we were saying that we don't really like pop music like per se, but I really like Miley Cyrus, and I mean I have so much to say about that. But for anybody who hasn't heard the song, she wrote this song about her most recent breakup, which is actually a marriage that I believe only lasted for about 2 years. And it was pretty traumatic. All the girls at work were talking about it, saying that he had cheated on her with 14 different women, possibly in the house that they lived in. And then the house got burnt down. Like I'm just like, this story is insane. And then she puts out this song like directly on his birthday or like right in the fucking week of his birthday. And I mean, she's just kind of like doing it as this like, like fuck you, like I'm fine, I'm good, like I've moved on, I'm hot as shit, and I spent a lot of time just kind of like escaping, thinking about it. And I find the story very interesting. I connect a lot with people who went through really serious breakups in the pandemic or the end of the pandemic. And I know what it's like. I mean, the lyrics of the song are, I can buy myself flowers. And, honestly, like, I'm not going to waste my money on flowers. Which was like the other side of like our subjects today, which was, food stamps. And that's something that I've been dealing with intensely this week. Because of my injury, I no longer make the money that I used to. And I have my job, which I work at, but I'm also going to be doing school. So it doesn't make sense for me to get like an additional job. And so I applied for food stamps this week, and I would say I spent all week long doing it. Like, it was a lot. So I have vented to David about that quite a bit already. David, comment?
Oh, I'm here. I just I've been kind of in the distant. Um it it's a hard conversation for me to delve into because I don't really have any connection to when we're talking if we're talking about food stamps, okay? Because we've spoken about this before. Because according to the U.S. government, I make a substantial amount of money. I make lots of money. But in reality, I pay a fortune in taxes. Okay. And when I say I pay a fortune in taxes, I mean a fortune in taxes.
Yeah.
Close to close to 10,000 annually. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like at one point I did add up the number of taxes that I pay, but I always like to say I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars in my life. Because I have. Like, I actually have made hundreds of thousands of dollars in my life. But
Yeah.
like, it's all spent on rent and survival and like doing anything that I ever have done. Like, I don't know, it's the place that I live. But speaking of like this weird like loophole that people get put in where they make too much money to qualify for these benefits. But then on the other hand, like, they don't make enough money to get loans or to get any type of help, and they don't make enough money to like get forward. So I see a lot of people who should qualify that are not qualifying. And I mean, I think I barely qualify, and I feel like they could like just give me like $25 a week or something like that, because they're like, oh, you barely qualify. But I don't know. I mean, I'm glad it's there. I'm not going to knock the system completely. That's not what I'm here to do. I think any type of help is help. I mean, trying to go to school. They definitely made a big point out of like people who are in school. They want to help students like a lot. So I think that that's great, but I will say there's something wrong. I mean, I don't think that's any surprise, that there's something wrong with the system. Okay, I'm rolling.
I'm sorry. I know I sound like I'm a ghost in the background. Um
I
Still
mean,
sick. Yeah, still under the weather and trying to be able to push through this.
yeah, David hasn't
It's
been feeling good. It's
no.
just like I'm I'm glad that you're feeling better than you were. But I'm sure on like one of these podcasts I won't be feeling well either. But I probably would be like a little bitch and be like, "No, I can't do it today." I think I did. There was like Monday. I had some like problem with my nose. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't do it. I was like, "We can't do the podcast. I'm going to the doctor."
Mm-hmm.
Is that all you're gonna say though? I gotta talk like the whole podcast?
No, honey, I'm gonna talk throughout the podcast. Come on, we got a whole hour over here. We got to kill, and we need a little bit of action. And we need a little bit of love. I
I'm
mean,
super
like
talky though. Like, I feel like I don't know. I feel like
it's the marijuana, honey. The way you smoke the cannabis, the type of cannabis you're smoking,
I
it
don't know
changes.
what type of cannabis it is. It's just some
I,
cannabis,
I know
man.
what I'm smoking. Currently I'm smoking Orlando Kush.
Orlando?
Orlando Kush. It's an Orlando Kush.
Like Florida?
I don't think it's called Orlando Kush because it's from Orlando. Yeah, but it's an indica dominant.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what type I have. It's just
But
weed brought to
but
you by weed. You
I
hate
did want
me.
to go back to what you were saying earlier about the song
Oh,
by
oh,
Miley
oh.
Cyrus, is because I generally try to put out this message. Oh, hey, hey, what, who's smoking indica and who's smoking sativa? I am definitely smoking an indica over here. I always smoke indica. I'm always usually trying to have more of a mellow vibe. But going back to the song,
No, let's just talk about weed. This one is mystery weed. We don't know what it is, but I usually smoke indica because sativa is like I already have anxiety, so like I don't really want anything, that's gonna like bring me up. Like I need to kind of relax is what works better for me.
yeah, I mean, we've done hybrids before, the both of
Yeah, yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And hybrids are usually a very fun experience because you kind of get a little bit of the sativa, you get a little bit of an indica um, vibe, an experience. And generally, like when I'm listening to music, I like to do it while high sometimes, depending on which genre. There are certain types of music, specifically where you have some songs today that incorporate different sounds, um, different progressions of words. Like for example, like the song that we were talking about, which is "Flowers" by Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Um, Look, I will admit, I know that there was like six people that wrote that song. Okay, like I'm
There's
not in
three. I looked
three.
it up.
Okay,
They're
three,
like
three,
we got the facts. And one of the three people is Miley Cyrus.
one.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
there could have been I got weed in my mouth. There could have been and I have no ashtray. Ooh, this is a problem. Okay. But there were three people working on
Ashtray.
it, and one of them was Miley Cyrus herself.
Thank you, my
There was
love.
one thing that I heard Miley Cyrus say about writing a song where she was like, I don't write bad songs. I don't want to, because once you write it down, it like comes alive. And I that kind of rings in my mind because like I don't I think as an artist you must write a song that you're okay with singing forever. Like, can you imagine? Like, she'll be like 65 years old and people will be like, I want to hear flowers. And she's like, oh, I can love me better. It's like, okay, like I can.
Well, she said this, and I'm one of those people. If you want a really good take on Miley Cyrus, she did an interview on the Joe Rogan podcast around
That's what I was
2000,
talking about. Yeah.
2020. And I mean this genuinely. Like, this is probably the most real interview she has probably had. You get 2 full hours of Miley Cyrus just
Yeah.
talking about her life and her progression in music. So
It's a very enjoyable interview.
yeah,
Like
it's
I
amazing.
watched it
Yeah.
again recently because I'm going through a little Miley Cyrus obsession. I saw it during the pandemic, but like after finding out these new things about her, I wanted to listen to what she had to say again during the time that she was like freshly out of that breakup. There were a lot of different things that struck me during that podcast. One thing that really stood out to me is that they talked about Miley Cyrus's for like she had brain damage at an early age. She was like on this car. Well, she was like in a backpack or something, like on the back of like her dad's like back. I shouldn't be like telling the whole story, but like
She
it
explained that she explained
she
it.
explained it. She got hurt on like a moped or a four-wheeler or something like that. She hit her head. And she was really, really young. So I won't like tell every detail of it. I'll let her tell it. But it's like I also and here I am just like relating myself to the pop star over and over again, but I will, and I do relate to her a lot. Like I grew up like doing lots and lots of entertainment, nothing to the extent of that, but like I was on stage constantly, and I had a lot of focus on like the way that I looked and the way that I was in front of people and different things like that, which is why I've chosen to not be on camera and instead be like behind the scenes. And this is kind of like a new thing for me, is like being on camera. We were just talking about that last night. But
Mm-hmm.
she had brain damage, and I did not suffer any brain damage, but I did hit my head really, really, really fucking hard and broke my nose in third grade. And so when I was listening to them talk about how like these like
Okay, I
head
found the
injuries can like change people.
so okay, this is the exact information that was I found this. I think it's on People magazine. She said I had a head injury when I was 2 years old. Miley 27 told Rogan it's bad. She said when the host asked her what happened, my dad had me. This is really bad, but he can't go to
Well,
jail. I don't.
I wasn't gonna repeat it word for word, but I guess
No, no,
if
no,
you
no, no.
read
But
it
I'm
directly from
saying,
a magazine, it's okay.
yeah. What I'm saying is that like she goes on further to say that he had me in a baby backpack. So like just
Yeah,
to clarify, it was a backpack and it was on a dirt bike. The
yeah.
dirt bike and a backpack.
So how old
That's
was
it.
she? Does it say that?
Yeah, she said she was 2 years old, roughly.
2. See, I
Two
said
years
like
old.
maybe 5, but yeah, 2. So I think there's a few different reasons, why they said like also genetics and things like that contribute to feeling like a desire for a rush. I know that alcoholism runs in my family, but that neither my mother or father are alcoholics, but that it does kind of it was in both of my grandfathers. Now, I feel like they were both veterans, which doesn't mean that all alcoholics are veterans or that the two things are related in any type of way at all. But I think that for them, the drinking lifestyle started when they returned or when they were in the military of some kind. So, I mean, I think that kind of contributed to it. Also, like, there's not much else to do in Iowa, in the winter. People drink a lot, but my mom and dad never really drank a lot. But I can relate with her a lot, and I find it really comforting to like hear her vent about these personal things that she's been through and open up to the world and use her public platform to say like an empowering thing. Like, I find it comforting to see another woman overcome things that I've also been working on, and it's just like really cool. I could relate with it a lot. I don't know, I think everybody was sick of hearing me go on about it. Like, I was like, did you know? Because I mean,
It's all
there's
right.
just so much to be said.
There is. See, the thing is, it's more than just a conversation. It's also about being able to see it for what it is. I mean, it's no one wants to go through that. Okay, that's reality. No one wants to be treated that way. I'm not talking about like when she was younger. I'm talking about like with her marriage. Um, the thing is that like I like to hint separate artists from the legacy. When you separate the artist from the legacy, you see a person that is telling you who they are as a person, what they inspire, and what things they need to work on. What the reason that they're telling you this, if you want, you can take it as a meaning. You don't have to, but you can. You can always learn something from another individual, whether positive or negative.
I just feel like she's different.
She
And I
has to
like
be.
I like that she's closer to my age. I think that works for me a lot. I, am in my 30s, early 30s, and I just like I feel like she's kind of right around there, 31, 30, I don't know, and at least she's 30. And to me, I feel like, yeah, those are issues that I deal with, the kind of like, thinking that you had the relationship that was going to work out, a marriage that might work, and then it's just like, oh, it crashed and burned like hard. Um, so I mean, it's embarrassing to have that happen around you, you know? Uh, you're embarrassed as it's happening because people don't really give you the response that you deserve for what you're going through. Um, At least that's how I felt. I mean, there's so many yous that I just used, so obviously it was a very traumatizing experience. I noticed that when I watched the Joe Rogan podcast as well, that there are a lot of times that when she tells a story, when Miley Cyrus tells a story, she uses the word you instead of I. My therapist taught me that that was a sign of trauma. So anytime that I use the word you when explaining a story, it's you're putting the other person in your perspective, and it shows that it's hard for you to say I at the time, and it's much easier to say you. And so it it's easier for people. It's a trauma response. I don't know, it made sense to me. I'm doing a terrible job explaining it, but
No, you're doing a great job of explaining it. It's just that I do that all the time. I'm
I
always
know
yeah. I
it's not just
always
you. Go
I
on.
am wow. I guess I'm a trauma victim.
Well, it drove me insane the first few weeks that she started working on it with me. And she pretty much refused to listen to anything that I would say until I would say it the way that she wanted me to say it. And I lost my therapist because she retired, and she was incredible, but that's one of the good things that she gave me, because it allowed me to check my behavior. It allowed me to say to myself, oh, I just used the you. So what was I talking about? I was talking about this. Oh, okay, I've got some really unsolved feelings about that. What is it that I need to kind of clarify in my mind in order to feel comfortable enough to say I, you know? And I see a lot of people do it, and I saw Miley Cyrus in that interview do it as well. Now, she had some doctor that she keeps talking about in the interview, and she talks about getting these brain scans. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. So she's gotten a lot of assistance, it sounds like, and a lot of assistance that she's like satisfied with, um, is what it sounds like to me. And I think that that's really interesting. I feel like I'd gotten a lot of therapy assistance as well. And that would be another thing that I could thank, Medi-Cal, the city of California for. That was all funded. So I think, I
Do
mean,
you
they do good
remember
things for people.
do you remember the part, and don't quote me on this, you want to check this up, you could check this. I remember she saying that she was hanging around people that weren't famous, and that's why she was getting screwed over or something.
I don't know.
Can you fact check that?
Me?
Yeah. Oh,
You
you
want
want me?
me? She's
No, let
hanging around people that weren't famous, and that's why she got in trouble. Maybe that's a part that I didn't hear.
me see. Let me do some magic.
I mean, she said she grew up in this like famous lifestyle or whatever.
I don't remember the exact word, so maybe not. Don't quote me. I'm trying to figure out how I can search this up.
The other thing that everybody keeps gossiping about is Jennifer Lawrence. And at the beginning of the music video is this gold dress, which is apparently a reference to Jennifer Lawrence's gold dress at the Hunger Games kind of premiere or some type of something. There's these pictures of Jennifer Lawrence in a gold dress. But I think that the gold dress looks very Lady Gaga because it's got this like hood. But I don't know what other references are in that music video, but I would suggest
There's the
watching the
one with
music
the
video.
jacket. There's the one with the jacket. Remember, there was
What is the jacket reference?
the one where Miley Cyrus wore a man's sports jacket and trousers.
Well, that's just an outfit, but I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
like the other thing that I know is a reference is like that the beginning of the music video is supposed to be like their driveway up to their house that like
Mm-hmm.
burned down. And then she does this like insane workout in the music video, which I believe is Liam Hemsworth's workout. He's got this like workout is like a specific workout, and she like does it in the music video and then releases it the week of his birthday. It's so weird. I'm like, okay, like I don't know. The other thing that I looked up that really creeped me out is that Liam started dating his girlfriend when she was possibly 19 or 20. Because, okay, so they started dating in 2019 and she is right now 24. So how many years ago is
Who
2019?
wait, who's 24?
His girlfriend, his new girlfriend, the new girl that Miley Cyrus's husband is now dating. And he's been dating her since before the divorce was official. And they're still together. So let me see, 19 to 20, 20 to 21, 21 to 22. So they already been together for like 3-4 years. So that makes her 20 when they started dating. So that's what her husband did. He cheated on her like crazy and then hooked up with a 20-year-old and has been with her for 4 years now.
My
I mean, I did so much research, and this was another thing that I can relate with Miley Cyrus, and a thing that they said about people who have like ADHD or something like that. David, I like can't smoke anymore. I'm gonna like pass out.
sorry, I didn't need anybody to hear or see that.
Well, I was just saying this like over research, it's kind of like another sign of kind of like ADHD or like just like is something that Miley Cyrus said is that she also will just like over research things. So I over research this topic.
It's not necessarily over research. It's a way of being able to see the story, be a part be a part of it. So when you have somebody that you want to have a conversation with, you have something to relate to. See, the thing is, knowing the details, knowing how the story happened, why it happened the way that it did, it's important. Because how else are you supposed to have a conversation about it?
Well, yeah, I mean that's how you do it, but
Mm-hmm.
I find it really interesting that I can find all these things just in my hand on my phone. I mean, because that's all I'm doing is I just search back and forth, like, okay, well, who's he dating now? And I just like look it up. I can go straight to his Instagram and it show me all kinds of interesting things. Like
Of
I can find
course,
out how old she is. I can find out what her name is. Gabriella Brooks, which there's two Gabriella Brooks. The first one I had to make sure wasn't, his girlfriend is this woman. She was in a Bob
I, I,
Marley thing.
I, this is, there's two, there's two
It's an onion, layers of an onion. No, okay, so
layers.
like the one that he's dating, that's how I figured out that she was 24. So then I went back to like when they were first mentioned together, which would have they started seeing each other in 2019. I found when they were first like seen together. So I don't know. Then I put together that like she was only 20 years old. It's just like, okay, like wow, people do really hurtful things. People just do whatever they want to do.
Some people do, yeah.
I had said, like I don't understand why he proposed to her. I mean, maybe he was just like enthralled in the moment. I never looked up anything about that, but it's like if you didn't want to marry her, why did you ask her? Because I always go back to that. Like he asked her, you know, like
Look, I can say as a person that grew up on Disney Channel, all right, as a kid, a lot of the people that came out of that, a lot of the stars that came out of that are very damaged adults. Okay. And you can see that for yourself. All right. I think we both can relate to this because like we've watched these people become famous. Um, Trauma and the realization that you no longer have a private life, it is shattering. You no longer have any idea of what a normal life is. You don't know what to do.
She said there were a couple different reasons, like, you know, that the brain trauma could be part of it, and then also the genetics, but she specifically said that she didn't want to blame everything on Hollywood. But I do think that, you know, the constant performing and experiencing that type of like high at a young age. Yeah, because then your like high capacity is like bigger. I don't know. Yeah, it's really cool to hear somebody open up and like tell their whole little like life story. Like it was a really good episode. I highly suggest that one. And I'm not a huge like Joe Rogan experience, you know, but that one I'll give props to. It was really cool. I like it when people are interviewed well. It's funny when he kind of like takes the story back to what he wants to talk about. He's like, so how damaged are you? Like, and I'm just like, leave her alone. But I don't want to hear.
Leave her alone.
I mean, she's willing to talk about it.
Leave him alone.
What does he say? That was one of my favorite songs. I can't even remember the words to it. You just sang like one part of it.
Well, I mean, there's other.
Leave it alone. I'm happy. That's what he says.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. I'm happy.
Yes. Leave me alone.
No one knows what we're talking about. It's
nobody
like
knows what we're talking about. This was
an inside joke. Yeah, it's a song that we listened to on TikTok.
If you send me the video, I think I can actually showcase it here.
He's wonderful. I watch other people's podcasts so they could like pull up videos like right in the middle of the thing and they talk about it and shit like that.
I can.
Oof.
I can.
I don't know. We're gonna get there, people. It's gonna be more entertaining, but right now it's just kind of like a ride along.
Ride along. Right along,
I don't really know what a ride along is.
I have no idea. We're making some kind of music. We're kind of going along with this, but like all seriousness, I didn't really know what to expect like walking into this because Karissa knows my jam. Like Karissa knows like what I talk about. I've never really like had a discussion about this person in particular. It's
Miley? Neither have I. So if I haven't done it, why is it so special that you
I don't know. No, well, I don't know. I'm just like, whoa.
You feel it's significant. You're like, this is a big deal that I'm talking about somebody like Miley Cyrus.
Oh my god. Ooh. We have a comment. We have a comment we have to see.
What does it say? I don't see anything.
Let's see.
Am I bad at this?
No, let's see. Hi, Karissa. Too long no see. Sending you lots of love and positive energy, darling. Aww. Somebody's sending Karissa love.
I don't see any of these things.
Oh my god, this is terrible.
I don't know. I'm so technology challenged. We'll have to put me in like some classes. I think I'll watch some YouTube videos and I'll learn things, you know.
Yes. Much love to Karissa.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Who's it from?
That's what I figured. What?
Something's talking to you.
Something's talking. I don't know the name of this account. Gozeer. GHOZEEARCHI.
Oh my god, I'd have to look at it. I'm terrible.
Oh, I know.
I'll look at it later.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for supporting us. We just like to do a little podcast on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been talking about. So I wanted to talk about this with you, which I think, which was kind of what sparked food stamps. We were talking about the benefits, these different programs that you can qualify to get certain needs and things like food stamps, welfare, help with your rent and stuff like that. But because the way of how certain employers pay you and the way that you have to pay for your taxes and the places that we live and the costs and expense for fuel and to own a vehicle,
Okay. Yeah. So this was what I was saying at work last night is okay, when they looked at my budget, they asked me how much money I made before taxes. And so they did the math on if I qualify on how much money I'm making before I'm taxed. But like I believe, I don't want to like misspeak, but I think that if I wasn't being taxed, I make an additional $600 a month. And if I had that $600, I would not need help from them. Okay. But they're basing it off of me with, that additional $600. And therefore, I barely qualify for anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
But they're basing it off of this money that I don't have. And honestly, like I'm gonna get tax returns, but it's never gonna add up to that much. So I don't really understand the logic behind paying attention to the fact that I make this much before taxes. Like I said, if I made that much money, I would not be applying. It's the fact that I lose $600 every month, just
It's the
paying the
same.
taxes.
It's the same thing because um, the amount of money that I make now, okay, is what middle class was in the 80s and 90s. Okay. The amount of money I'm making right now with my job was middle class. But right now, what I'm making is no longer middle class because of how many expenses is put in front of you just to be able to get by every single day. The reality is this: if you want people to be successful, if you want people to be able to prosper and grow and be able to have independency and entrepreneurship and an environment that is not destructive but beneficial, the only way of doing that is you have to work together.
Yeah, I bitch about people not working together all the time. I'm like, people have to kind of like work together. Like, everybody having these opposing opinions about the student loan forgiveness. And I'm like, can we just kind of like work together? Like, I get irritated with the two parties. I mean, I told you things will always go where they need to go with the conversation.
I know.
It's just ridiculous. It's like you'll talk about what you want to talk about. Like you'll get there somehow. But I feel this irritation. I feel like what I see is just like people not working together. And I mean, that's nothing new. I think but I think it's not said enough that like that is the real problem, is that people are not working together. Like I think that's the actual issue.
Well, the issue is having the conversation. See, the thing is, it all starts with a conversation. Okay. You I've said this and I'm going to say this again. You don't have to have a conversation with somebody and you both have to agree on the same topic. All you have to do is to be able to come to a common ground and say, look, you want this. I want this. You want that. I want that. You see where I'm going with this? So there is a
Yeah.
common ground between either side. We have to get that funk out of our head of needing to be on exact sides. There's no such thing. You cannot have two people that are exactly on the same side. I don't believe
Yeah.
that exists. I don't.
People aren't going to agree. I I think that you shouldn't expect people to agree with you. I I think it's okay to want to be heard, you know? Maybe you shouldn't expect to be heard, but like, what I'm saying is like being heard is where we need to be. Like at least listening to one another. You don't have to agree really, but like you never get anywhere if you don't hear anyone else's perspective. Like, I mean, unless you're just the most powerful person in the world and you just don't have to listen to fucking anybody, like, okay, lucky for you.
God bless you.
I mean, I don't really want to live that way, so I don't consider that lucky, but it's just, I feel like people need to listen first, and then reverberate back what they heard. And that's kind of how you communicate.
Communication.
Like, yeah, a podcast is a beautiful thing because you're given a whole hour to just focus on that and the communication, and being heard and everything that people really honestly need.
Yeah, and something, we're reaching the last course of the hour, and when you take in all of the time, and we've said this, where you're jumping from conversation to conversation, but it's basically being able to have an open source, an open tank of,
Yeah, I feel like I mean, we planned for this topic, and we
yes,
planned for it to actually be two topics in one, because it is,
flowers and
flowers
food
and
and
yeah.
food stamps. Yeah.
And so, like, I wanted to go all over the board, and that was the whole point, is that that's kind of been what this week has been like for me, is, food stamps, and I'm not gonna go buy myself flowers, but
Flowers. Paint my
yeah,
nails cherry red. I mean, they're not
write my name in
cherry
the
red,
sand.
but they're a little red.
I am just not getting my nails done right now. Like,
Huh.
I'm not doing those things, flowers and nails. But it is nice to just like have some time to myself, and it has been a productive week, I guess. Just trying to look out and like take care of myself. The one thing that I told you about that was just like insane was when I applied for the discount on my Wi-Fi.
Oh,
They
I
have
remember
like this
this.
like low income
Mm-hmm.
Wi-Fi, and you have to go on this website and apply for it. Then they give you a code, then you give the code to Spectrum. Now everybody's going to do it and it's going to suck because I told everybody about it. They'll like raise or lower the price or get rid of it or something. But anyways, I
Goddamn.
went on and I applied for it. And without knowing, there are two programs. There's one where you can apply for a Wi-Fi discount, and there's one where you can apply for like a phone. And they're both like ran by the same people. The websites look like almost identical. And I had accidentally signed up to get a free cell phone. And I was like, oh my God, but I called to ask them if everything was okay, if I had actually gotten approved. And they were like, yeah, you're approved for this cell phone. And I was like, wait. I was trying to sign up for my Wi-Fi discount. And she was like, oh, no, we don't do that. And she was like, you should find somebody who can help you, do that, because we don't do that here. So I canceled the free cell phone. But I want to say that like that's pretty interesting, that like I just signed up for a free cell phone. So like if there's anybody who needs to switch off of their cell phone plan because it's just like killing them, this could be a possible, try, like something to try for like a couple months, just to like maybe get by or something like that. I already have my phone and everything like that, but it was a new phone. It was like a Samsung or something, so it's not an iPhone. But it's kind of neat. Like, I'm glad that they have that help out there for people.
It's strange because as time goes on, you wonder to yourself, there's so many shiny things all around. Shiny things. And now the government pays for it. They have a program for it. There is there's going to there's going to be a point where you don't just have to think. You just have to be there It's in your mind.
What are you talking about, you stoner?
No, what I'm talking about, oh no.
You're stoned.
No.
Everybody must get stoned.
Everybody must get stoned. No,
Was it
what was I
Tom
trying to
Petty?
I was trying to tie it into something, and then it just kind of
Yeah, I feel you.
it fell off a cliff.
Off the cliff it went. Boom.
Is that
Yeah, that was
Louis?
pretty harsh. Yeah, this is Louis. Do you see him?
Oh yeah, I can see a
I'm
little
fucking with
Louis.
my microphone like a lot.
I know you are.
That's
You're moving
terrible. You
It
hate me.
is. No, I don't hate you.
And he was like, stop. But I just, I have high expectations for the microphone, and they have not been meeting my expectations the whole time.
Well, this is true. This is indeed a real problem.
You're like, don't make it worse than it is. You do have red nails.
Hmm?
You do have some red nails.
I have one red nail.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, but it's not cherry red.
I want some cherry red nails.
Me and you, sister. Me and
you.
you.
Some flowers.
And some.
We should buy each other flowers. If I lived around you, I'd drop some flowers off.
I'm actually one of those kind of people that I'm not so crazy about flowers.
I think it's really cute, but like I don't need them right now. You know, like I think it's like if somebody's really trying to make like a really good impression, I think it's a good idea. I don't know.
See, like for me is if I had a man, okay, and sorry to be explicit about this, but I prefer something a little bit better than just flowers.
That's so
okay.
Great. What is it that you're talking about though? Like it could just be like you want something better than flowers, but you made it sound like more than that.
Honey, I want, a raffle ticket to downtown.
Yeah, that is what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was gonna say this.
Insert into the slot machine.
It's absolutely crazy, like how little like I want to bang. Like I'm like, I just don't.
Monica Bang.
I don't feel it. Like I wasn't like, oh my God. Like it's crazy. Like I don't know. I just like I'm surprised with myself. I'm like, well, where did the desire for that go? I don't know. Nothing was making me like, yes, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it.
Neither am I.
You sound kind of excited over there.
No. I'm just being an idiot. I'm just having fun, okay? Like
I don't know.
This
I
isn't
have young friends and they're always like, he's so hot, and they're like so like fired up and stuff, and I'm just like, okay, like
who are you talking about?
My friends at work, like they like date, and they know, like they have like crushes and stuff, and they like different people. I don't know. So I'm like, okay, so I don't know. I don't feel that way. I don't feel datey. I don't feel like, ooh, I gotta find a hot guy. Like I just don't.
Why do you
where that went.
Okay, why do you need to find yourself a hot guy? Because I mean,
there's no like, I don't know. I'm not like in this like passionate search, which I find strange. I don't know. It's like I want something. I don't know. Again, back to the Miley Cyrus interview. She was talking about how she just feels kind of like, like people think that she's like cold or something like that, or and I just like, I was thinking like, yeah, I don't cry like I used to, I really don't. Like I do like a little bit, but not like I used to, but like
it depends on what like darkness of shadow and how much of the rain is coming down, and who's playing the violin in which corner, because otherwise like the tears, you're going to get a different level.
It's weird. I remember like there was like a phase like back in like 2016, 2017 or something like that where I really didn't cry, very much for like or hardly very much for like a good, 8 months or so. And I don't know, maybe things were just like going really well or I just felt like more in control of stuff or what it was that I was doing differently at the time. But I think that it's kind of significant, to like go through these like phases. But I will tell you, it's very different. It's like a very different experience to not be, you know, emotional, like to not feel these like passions that drive your decisions, like instead it's like this logic-y
Hmm.
thing that's happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope that is the situation. And I'm not uh under the substance. But anyway, this has been this has been what? Come on, we got to I was thinking about doing this. Let's think of a word. Think of like a word that inspires us. Like, like today, like we've been talking about kind of the hardships and the struggle, but also kind of the benefit, kind of singing a story of somebody and a new song that's kind of, this is interesting. This has got a good kick to it. Bringing all that together, bringing all that spice.
I think that it was a painful experience that she
Mm-hmm.
went through and she made something really cool out of it.
Mm-hmm.
The song, the video. I think that she used her experience in a good way, created something positive, for the most part. I mean, it's a little like, you know, but I I think that it's a good experience. That's what I would say about it. But as far as like words go, and the first word that comes to mind is like recovery. Because it's like I know she went through something real hard, but like it seems like she's like recovered, you know. But creating something good out of something bad. I don't know if I exactly have a word for that. Like it I mean, can you think of anything?
I'm thinking. My brain is a little slow, but I
I know
am
you're a little
thinking.
tired.
Um,
It's I mean, I feel like yeah,
Drive. I think a good word would be something like a drive to self succeed, being able to stand up for yourself, um, be who you want to be.
yeah, drive, but I feel like I come back to the word recovery because it's
Ooh,
something bad
preserve.
and you're
Uh, pre-
back. You're back.
okay,
You're in a better place than you were before. Because
so
she's definitely in a better place than she was before.
um, we have a comment, and I kind of like this. What about preserve or
Pre- pres-
perseverance
yeah,
and
like when you
determination?
persevere. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a hard word to put
Ooh,
together.
positive transformation. I like that. All right, what else? What else we got? Well, I like this.
Facetious.
Anybody else have any other words that they want to add to this? Because I am loving this.
You don't think I'm funny?
No, I like yours too.
No, I said facetious. Did
Why
you hear me?
facetious?
Because I'm fucking with you.
Oh my god.
Because it's an annoying word.
Oh, all right. I think we've pissed off enough people. Uh, this has been great. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. My name is Dave. You can find the podcast at Lost in the Groove Pod on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Karissa, you can find her on Instagram at Karissa the Beautiful. All
That's
right.
me.
Check her out. She is fucking amazing. I love this woman. And we will catch you next week for another episode of Karissa. Come on.
Yeah, come back next Saturday. I'll
Or
be here again doing this
yes.
live. Yeah, me and Dave. We don't know what we're going to
Woo!
talk about yet, but it's going to be even better than today.
Yes. Well, I
Have a
mean,
good week.
we had a fucking amazing conversation, but we love you guys and girls. and all you non-binaries. We'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Love you.